Hi, everybody. Klickex is CLS for everyone. CLS is continuous link settlement, which is a way that the really big banks and the really large central banks disintermediate or offset FX risk between themselves. The problem is that only the biggest people can use it. It was set up by them, it's an industry association, but it really would help a lot of people if we could penetrate the rest of the market and get it out. So I'm defining everyone. Imagine if you could offset your counterparty risk no matter whether you are a large bank, a small bank, a person on the beach or the cell phone in the Pacific, or a securities company. So Klickex is CLS for everyone. What that's meant in the Pacific is that we've effectively become a new global multi-country central bank. So it's a big call, but that's effectively where we're at. So what our goal is to make sure that crises never happen again. So when we get rid of the counterparty risk and inter-country trading, we get rid of the blind spots. That's what we're all about. So as we're a transnational corporation, we've already got our compliance system built in because we reach out to retail, even though we're a wholesale service. And we think who better than to provide the compliance than the central banks? After all, it's their citizens, right? So you guys as bankers and us just need to sell the service, provide the liquidity. So we're actually after the $600 billion worldwide in cash deposits that are sitting out there. Right, it's money under the mattress that we can't use. So that's what we'd like to bring in. Why? Because we believe in banking. We believe in transparency, we believe in efficiency, and we believe that you guys and the banks and us have a distribution capacity to get out there to compete with the new services. So what we did, we took all the great things that banks do. The trading, the synthetic liquidity, the settlement, the operations. We do great stuff as banks, but we don't do them all at once. So we took them all together and we put them into one system, an institutional to institutional market matching system. So it's for banks and it's to enable everyone here to remain extremely competitive, enable them to be aggressive and efficient. So we've got a lot of technology built in here. I'd love to tell you the story about it, but literally I don't have time to explain how we built Faster and SEPA and Swift all in one and put it in the South Pacific. So ask me questions afterwards. So we are deployed. This is not mythical. This is not an idea, an ideal. This is actually running. We've done 25 million transactions across our core system. We've got 100,000 accounts across the South Pacific where we're deployed. And as we grew bigger, we're actually supported by the United Nations Capital Development Program because we're becoming this regional institution. So what's the impact? Well, remittances, particularly where we started, were 27% of cost of sending the funds for a low-value payment in some of the corridors. The MTOs and some of the banks and agents using our system now, including we have a retail platform as well, the cost dropped to 2.14%. That's including the fees, that's including the hidden charges, and that's by IFAD, right? So we're actually ranked the #1 low-value payment system in every market we operate in. We're the #1 deployment for international mobile money remittance service, so we're a hub, and that was ranked by IFAD as well. And that's in all Asia. So they took every deployment in Asia, and they had a look at it. And we're the #1. So from high-frequency trading right the way down to mobile payments, we're really leading the way. So we power the biggest mobile money network in the Pacific, and we have inbuilt virtual debit cards, a lot of more stuff I don't have time to talk about. But what about the rest of the world? Well, let's have a look at foreign exchange as a market. Is this relevant to the future of finance? We think so. 1.2 quadrillion US dollars. That generates about 700 billion in fees. We've got new payment systems coming in, taking this from banks. We need a new system to challenge that. Are global markets important to the future of financial services? We think so. The World Bank says that these can help alleviate poverty, increase financialization, therefore compliance, because everyone's online. So look at what banks do. In the first world, we do 2 to 3 weekly payments per week if we're using TTs on retail. But what do we do when it's ourselves? We've got email, doing 5,000 return trips a week around the world. What do you think we do? 340 million round trips per week we can do, high-frequency trading. We can do this. Customers know there's a difference. We brag about our high-speed frequency trading, but we deliver to retail only 2 round trips per week, sending money from London to Singapore, for example. So there's a bit of disparity, and we're leaving people behind, and it's upsetting them. So that's where we come in. We stop people being upset with the banks. And actually, we're very well known now for helping debt-laden countries eliminate systematic risk for foreign exchange settlement. So it's billions of dollars we can save by enabling banks to reach out to these customers and bring them into banking. They don't deserve to be somewhere else. They're ours. So there's a bit of a team here. Come and talk to us afterwards. If you can speed through this, I'm going to go quickly. I've got about 30 seconds before the music comes on. We know a lot about liquidity, trading systems, and banking systems. So these are the awards that we've won. We're well known to the people in the market. We're just not a global thing because we started in the South Pacific. So we nailed this technology down there, and now we're looking to expand it elsewhere. So by connecting to our system, you get a multi-directional, multi-bank system that really drops the cost. We've proven that the costs drop, and we can actually connect through standard services as well. So we've got 140 currency pairs available. We've got, as I said, debit cards. We've got cash agents in and out. It's a fantastic system.
Thank you, Robert. So, questions for Robert. And please, again, remember, state your name and where you're from. And if you can stand up, wave at me if you have a question. Chris, yes. Could you stand up? Oh.
I was just wondering, having heard Asimo earlier, how you sort of see yourself positioning in terms of competitive landscape, and you've won an award, which you mentioned several times, which for a less than 3-year-old company is pretty impressive. But how did you get the award?
Which award?
How did you get the award?
Which one? There's lots.
The #1 for low-value payments transfers in every market that you serve.
We were the best. That's how we did it. Sorry.
So who did you compete with? Is what I'm asking.
Okay, that's a great sort of chance to talk about our founding story. So we started in the Pacific, which was a horrible, horrible liquidity market. So you've got teeny little countries, each of them the size or smaller than Bitcoin, for example. And so these central banks are trying to manage these countries to protect them, but you've got liquidity problems because there's no funds there. So we built the system that enabled institutions to actually synthesize silos of liquidity. So you've got day settlement, day plus 2 settlement, day plus 3 settlement. And so we were able to bring that into a unified market space that enabled people to reach out and get a spot settlement, but then take delivery from people wanting delivery further down the track. So it's an efficient system. The banks use this already in stock exchanges or high-frequency trading. We just made it available to everyone. We know how to do this. It's really simple. But just no one's actually put it on the table as a unified product that works. Does that help? Okay, great. Any more questions? I got a lot more to talk about if you want.
Another question? Sorry, can you state your name, where you're from, please?
Yeah, Marco, did you run into any regulatory issues in countries, or does it go way above the banks in terms of regulatory and oversight issues?
Well, don't think I mentioned it, but we are actually independently regulated in each country, right? So we're the clearing system in each country. To begin with, it was really hard because the main question when the Bank Secrecy Act and all the AML reviews came out, talk quickly, everyone was suspicious that you could move money from New Zealand to Australia to the UK, then back to Samoa, then to New Zealand inside minutes, right? So our market clears, we've got a multi-currency ACH market that clears between all participants every couple of minutes, and then the domestic payments clear every half an hour just because we're still quite small, to be fair. But they didn't understand it, and they said, well, if this is possible, why isn't everyone else doing it? It seems so straightforward. And so once we convinced them that we had all that information there, we knew the banks, we knew where they were from, we had all this KYC built in, they started to love us. So we started to be really the preferred system, although they can't nominate a monopoly. Mm-hmm. They started to say, well, can't you just go and tell those MTOs or those banks to start using your system? We've got little banks here. Mm-hmm. Really, should everyone use your platform? So once they understood us and once we demonstrated the transparency of what we offer, they started to love it, right? So they got statistical information, econometrics about money flowing in their countries that they never had before. So anyway, there's a lot to talk about. Come and talk to me afterwards if you're interested in anything.
Second question, if I may. The FX component, is that part of the service or is it just the payment routing?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a CCP cleared system, clearing system with real-time settlement, cleared funds everywhere. So It's an in-house market that we've got, I think, 9 banks participating in it, 4 ghost banks doing stealth liquidity provision. So it's pretty good.
Excellent.
20
Any further
seconds, guys.
questions?
Come on.
Quick one? Quick? No? All right. Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome. Thank you, folks.